Hi, viewers. It's a pleasure coming your way this hour through Majesty Christian Television Network. My name is Apostle Helen Rodokino, and we have a special assignment, as you know by this time, to bring to you a broadcast that is going to bless you and be a blessing to all our hearers. We are very grateful that you have tuned into us, and at the same time that you are a very good partner of Majesty Christian Television Network. So if you are just joining in, we are going to be transmitting or streaming live on our Facebook, which is Voice of Niger, at Razo. So you can also feel free to participate in this broadcast by calling into the studio line, which is 020-3374-160, so that you can have a one-on-one discussion with our able guest. So today, the topic is how quick is access to emergency ambulance services in the Netherlands, and our focus point is in Amsterdam. So our guest today in this broadcast is somebody who is well known in this area. She was an ex-chairman of the Dutch Association of Medical Managers. And also, she is from the Medical Manager Ambulance Care, which is known as Ambulance Amsterdam. So, she also was the ex-chairman of the Dutch Association of Medical Managers. Today, she is not only retired, but she is now an independent advisor for pre-hospital cares. So in this broadcast, we will be examining issues around access to emergency ambulance services in Amsterdam. And we think that she is very qualified and the best person to speak on this issue. So please help me receive no other person but our own Dr. Pieterniel van Exter. Welcome to Majesty Christian Television Network.
Welcome as well.
We are always privileged when we have you, you know.
Oh, yes, well, I thank you. I like it to be around you, yes.
I'm so glad that you like it. Because since 2010,
yes,
you have just been committed to, each time we call you, you come to, you know, make it known
yes,
to us.
I think it's important.
You come to let us know what we're supposed to know as migrant community.
Yes.
So we don't undermine your services. Once again, we welcome you to this forum.
Thank you very much. I think it's very important that expectations and misunderstandings can be clear.
Well,
clear.
Thank you so much. And today as well, we have as those who are going to be participants in this, and our panelists as well. We have Auntie Felicia Culture, who happen to be a midwife. Welcome, Auntie Felicia, to Majesty TV.
Thank you.
Today is your first time. You're going to speak loud so that we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
You are welcome to Majesty TV.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Right. And we also have our own, who is not more a guest here, or a visitor, a stranger to your people, our own Mrs. Cecilia Achono, who I popularly call my sis. Sis, welcome. She is a community leader. Welcome to Majesty TV, sis. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, welcome.
Right. So, they are here as panelists to as well add to what our main speaker for the day is going to say. So in case you have any experience which you want to bring out and then you want to ask, you have the right person seated next to you. So we thank you for coming in, all of you. And then our viewers on Facebook and those who are watching us live, remember you can channel your questions as well through the Facebook, and then we will be able to reach to you. Thank you so much. Yes, I've been having a bit of pain on this eye because I was operated, and sometimes it's a bit painful. Well, let's just go on to the questions. Dr. Pieterniel.
Yes.
Please, can you explain to us how the ambulance system in Amsterdam works? Because of recent, within very short period, we've heard that some migrant community members, 2 members from the migrant community, as a matter of fact, Nigeria as a case study, lost their loved ones through an emergency. And then they called for the ambulance services, but we heard that they didn't come on time. And even when they came, they were asking so many questions when they would have gone straight to begin to revive. Okay? So we are of the opinion that if they had really gone straight to reviving, probably those people wouldn't have died. So tell us a little bit of how this whole thing is being done in Amsterdam. How does it really work?
Yes. Well, those cases are terrible, of course, and should never happen. But I want to explain a bit on general how the ambulance should work, and what's the difference with maybe the expectations some people have of the ambulance. Like in Holland, we have a healthcare system where the huisarts is the central person. And in Holland, the huisarts is like the gatekeeper to the healthcare.
Okay.
And only when it's life-threatening, you can call the ambulance immediately. But even then, also the ambulance... well, let me give an example. You're in a restaurant and you see an elderly couple is sitting 2 tables away, and the man is choking. He took some of his beef and he's choking on it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
What do you do?
I will call the ambulance.
It's a full restaurant. Nobody does anything. Everybody thinks somebody else will do something. That's the first thing you have to realize. Even if you're not a healthcare taker, you don't know the person, whatever. If you see that somebody is in big trouble, and nobody is doing anything, you have to take the lead. Yes, you have to do something. So, yes, somebody has to call 112. At least. Somebody has to make the access for the ambulance ready, but also somebody has to try to give first aid. Because you asked how quick is the ambulance? Well, maybe 10 minutes. It's average.
10 minutes.
But in 10 minutes, somebody can really die. So don't wait 10 minutes. It would be a waste of time. So you have to try to do some first aid. If you don't know anything about first aid, you can ask in the room. If somebody else can do first aid, maybe you know a little bit that with choking you have to push to try to get it out. And if you don't know, then the dispatcher on the telephone, on the 112 line, will give you the instructions. That doesn't mean that the ambulance is not riding. The ambulance is on its way already, but in the same time, the dispatcher asks you a lot of questions to know for sure if one ambulance will be enough or they need more help, and also to give you instructions like what do you do to try to get the choking relieved. So it's a complex thing, and the ambulance, if it's in a life-threatening situation right away, like this case, then it will be there on average within 10 minutes, and in 92% or something within 15 minutes. That's officially also necessary.
Yeah, but what you are saying here now is that every person must be responsible in case somebody who is you are seated in a place where somebody is getting choked up, or somebody had just collapsed.
Yes.
Okay, but how efficient is that? How efficient has that been?
To give first aid?
Yes, I mean, have you witnessed, having practiced here for all of these years, have you witnessed people just calling ambulance in such situations?
Yes, well, we witnessed the other side, that they don't try to do something.
That's what I want to say. Yeah, speak.
And it's so important, even if you've not done any certificate of first aid, to do whatever you can. You don't do anything wrong. You have to try to help.
Yeah.
And the dispatcher on the telephone can explain to you, can give you instructions. And you can say, well, I don't know this person and I don't know first aid, I will not do anything. That's not the good attitude. You always have to try to help until the ambulance is coming.
But can I talk?
Yes, please, you can.
What you are saying is right. But in some communities, let me put it that way, a lot of people have never learned first aid.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
A lot of people have never learned first aid. Okay, for instance, myself, I know what you are saying. If somebody is choking, I will go to the person, I will try to help by pulling from backwards.
Yes.
Yeah. But a lot of people doesn't know that. So if an ambulance is called, instead of them asking so many questions, I think the ambulance is supposed to come immediately to save that life.
Yes,
just as you said, when something happens, people will just stay back, everybody watching. Nobody will give help, but rather they will call the ambulance.
Yes.
And as the case may be, I feel for you to save life, if you call ambulance supposed not to be asking too much questions. Of course, they will ask what is wrong so that they know how they are coming, whether they are coming with the infusion of whatever.
Yeah.
That one I know. But I feel it's supposed not to take more than 15 minutes for ambulance to come to the spot.
Yeah, even if it's 15 minutes, within 15 minutes,
somebody can
still die, isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Because when somebody is in a coma, let's assume, so the brain is no more functioning at that time, is that? Or the brain has just some few...
6 minutes.
6 minutes to live. So if the brain has 6 minutes, and then you are talking about 15 minutes, that's not what we want here.
No, that's what I'm saying, because so many, just as she said, people have complained. Well, they are in a situation, let me say, life-threatening, and they called ambulance, just as the lady that fell from the 3rd floor.
Yes.
Yeah? They called ambulance, and it took the ambulance more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes to be approximate, before the ambulance came. Had it been that ambulance arrived on time, the woman might have not died.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so
they would have given her, because at that moment, the person that was present there has no knowledge of first aid.
Didn't know anything.
Yeah, he was panicking. Of course, according to what I heard, he held her on the arms. For the rest, he cannot do anything. With every hope that ambulance will arrive as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, they came very late. And before they came, she died.
Yes. But let me explain one thing, one misunderstanding. The talking is done by the dispatcher. She's not moving. She's just in the dispatch room and asking all these questions to know for sure if you need a medical doctor on the scene or you need more equipment or whatever. But that doesn't mean the ambulance is not riding, because if it's urgent, they send away the ambulance right away when they know the address.
Okay.
And they talk on.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even notice that the ambulance is already on its way.
Yes.
So
okay. But then, if that be the case, because the ambulance is already on the way, dispatched, going, and then you are talking with the operator, right? If that be the case, why then is it that when they arrive at the scene, they still are asking for this question, for this one? Meanwhile, you've already gone ahead and you are speaking with the operator. Yes. So we assume from layman perspective that if they have despite the ambulance, and you despite the ambulance, and then if he arrives, I don't expect him
to be asking more questions.
Begin to ask more questions because already the people are embarrassed. You know, the people are in a panic situation. The question you are asking is it the person who is unconscious that's going to be responding to this question, or somebody who have just come into who doesn't know much about this person? Do you understand?
Yeah, I
so
understand.
it's an intricate case here. So we need more explanation to why it's happening this way. Is that the only way it can happen if we really mean to save lives? Or is it just because lives are going, people are dying, and then in Netherlands, it's like we cannot protest, we cannot sue? Because if it's in a place like America, where lives, if people lose their precious ones, they quickly sue because they say, okay, you didn't come on time, I'm suing, okay? But the law here permits that we don't sue you medical practitioners.
No, well, excuse me. My own confusion now.
No, let her speak, please, because she's my main guest here.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, then you can come in later.
Yes, I think it's true what you say, that the American system, and maybe in other countries as well, is different from the Dutch system. Like in Holland, it is nurse-based. So the ambulance caretaker is a nurse, and he or she is doing his investigations before knowing how to be able to save the person. So they're doing a lot of blood pressure and pulse and everything, and they also have a lot of medication on board. So it's not like they're not doing anything, you have to go quick to the hospital. They should and would give the first aid, the first medications on an advanced level. Whereas in America, when you call an ambulance, you get the fire brigade very often, and they just put you in the ambulance and bring you to the hospital.
Okay.
So that's different in Holland. It's a nurse who is making his own judgment and first treatment.
And then the problem is that if that nurse is not in a very good disposition, but I mean, something can happen that can make a nurse not to be in the best of distance. So if she is not in her best frame of mind, or her emotions are not very stable because she's human, then she's making decision for the dispatch of the ambulance.
For the dispatch?
Yeah, is that not what you said? She's the one making the decision.
The dispatcher is first making the decision if an ambulance has to go.
Yeah.
And then the ambulance, once it's once it's there, it makes a decision whether the patient has to be transported or not.
Okay, she wants to say something.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Please move your seat, yes, so that she can call.
Yeah.
In this issue, I really don't have so much to contribute here, because I have not experienced ambulance
situation.
Yeah, but one of our brothers who lost his a woman some weeks ago, he said that when the woman fell from the third floor, and then when he called the ambulance took almost 30 minutes before coming. So I was surprised myself, how come it's like that? So I think we are the right person who can explain things to us, because even to him himself, he's confused. He didn't know why it happened to him. Is that the system? Or sometimes, people think because I'm this person or that is why.
Yeah.
Whether it's because it's
a migrant community.
That's the way it's being done in
the white community as well. Let's call it spade a spade.
That's so sorry to hear. Yeah.
So he's
he was worried that the dispatcher didn't understand the urgency, or
no, the ambulance was very late. 30 minutes later, even though they were called. So the woman was still breathing when they called ambulance. But the ambulance took 30 minutes before coming there. So I don't know what happened.
So the question is it all the time that ambulance have to arrive late? And then we give the smooshes, we give the excuses that we are controlling their papers, we are controlling this and we are controlling that, and we want to know the state of condition. Is it always it has to be that way?
It's a difficult question. I would have liked to know exactly what happened in that case, because it's really terrible. But in general, it's well, like I told you, always have to be there within 15 minutes. And when we see in our region, it's on average it's within 10 minutes. And it's taking some time, because the ambulances are everywhere working, and we don't have a lot of ambulances waiting on every corner of the street. So at the moment there's an emergency, then the dispatcher gives out the order to search for an ambulance who's close and who could be there at least within 15 minutes.
Even though they go with siren, they're supposed to be there within
No, the issue is not about the distance. The issue is about the things that they have to accurate information that has to be given to them before they come.
Okay.
Not the distance. Is that
okay? Well, yeah, but the distance, but the capacity of how many cars there are free.
Oh.
Okay.
You see? Because some are working.
Yeah. So are you saying to us that sometimes you act like the third world countries too? Because in third world countries we are saying that we don't have car, we don't have this, we don't have that. You mean in this first part? Hey, this is strange. Well, those
listen,
of you who are just tuning in, please, we are discussing on access to ambulance services in the Netherlands, and our guest today is Dr. Pieterniel van Exter, who happened to be the ex-chairman of the Dutch Association of Medical Managers. So she is live here with us in the studio of Majesty TV. And another beautiful daughter have also joined this panel. So please help me receive Mrs. Florence Dumes. Welcome to Majesty, sweetheart.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Nice to be here.
Right. So you have heard a bit of what we are discussing. Is there anything you think you want to chip in?
Yeah, I had an experience one time, years ago.
Okay.
A sister visited me.
Yeah.
And she fell in my own house.
Really?
Yeah, but luckily, my house is like 2 minutes to the police station.
Okay.
So I ran there. And they came with me.
Yeah.
Inside the house. When they saw her, they called the ambulance themselves.
Okay.
Because the police called the ambulance themselves, it was like the ambulance was very close to my house.
Really?
Immediately they called. I don't know how they came. Before I go upstairs to bring my bag, they already putting her in the car.
Wow. So it was so quick.
It was so quick because they did the calling.
Yeah. You see.
That is a guarantee I know.
Yeah.
I was wondering, are they standing there? Because I called before for a separate person. My husband broke his leg. He fell. They keep on asking me a lot of questions.
Yes.
On the phone.
Yes.
They ask me and ask me. I begin to give people the phone so they can say it better today in Dutch.
Yeah.
But they keep on asking more.
Yeah.
Is it serious? Is it bleeding?
Really?
Is it moving? Is it dying? Can it? A lot. I said, please. I don't know. Can you call? But when the police called them for the other case, it was a different case.
Because the police were involved.
That was the difference I find out.
Really? Yes. I didn't even know you had such an experience.
So, exactly.
Wow, it's good that we can hear this from you.
I can equally help her.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly what I experienced when my daughter was very, very sick.
Okay.
Yeah? She was having severe pain.
Yes.
She's somebody who has been sick. At intervals, she's always sick. So that night, she was having excruciating pain.
Wow.
You can't even touch her. Yeah?
Oh.
So I told her, do you know what? I can't treat this at home.
Yes.
Let's go to hospital. We call ambulance. Exactly what you are saying, my sister. They keep the med karma, yeah? They keep on asking me, how serious is he? Is he so and so? Call the house doctor. I said, listen, I even told them that we have been instructed by the hospital that when she's having any problem, we should call the ambulance because her situation, when she gets sick, it can be worse, you know. But at a later stage, I told her, do you know what? Keep the phone. Let me call the hospital straight. You know, I called the hospital. The hospital called the ambulance. Before 10 minutes, they were there.
Yeah, you see.
No, I can relate to that. It's true.
That means there is a system to get
It's
to
true
ambulance.
that if it's not for the dispatcher, it's not clear that it's life-threatening in seconds. Like I started talking about the huisarts who is normally the gatekeeper. If he calls for an ambulance, yes, they come right away. They don't ask more questions because then some professional has asked for to
but
call.
if it happened during the weekend, like you rightly gave the example, if it is in a restaurant, the house doctor is not there.
No.
So and some of them you can't even get in your house doctor during the weekend.
No, it's the huisarts post.
House post.
That is different.
Yeah.
So are we supposed to call the house post now?
Yeah.
And they take also a long time because they will keep telling you we need a line key 2. We think we should press 4. So by the time you are
pressing 4 and 5, the person is dead.
Oh, man, this is terrible.
So what I'm trying to understand here is, or to ask,
Yeah.
before calling ambulance, is it the best thing to call the police?
No.
Oh, okay, that's
So
a
the
good
police
one.
can help. Yeah.
No, the best thing would be to call the huisarts.
Okay, the house
No.
too is sometimes on tell you call
don't
this
want
number
that.
because I'm not around. You know, weekend you call this person.
Sir, we don't want that.
Yeah,
All will
there's some
prolong the whole
problems with
the
it.
whole
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
or
They
probably
don't want it.
that's reason why they are acting this way. Maybe some people must have abused such that
Yes.
opportunity that made them sort of ask all those
Yes.
questions. You know, there are
Yes.
people who are interested in destroying arranged things. They will just derail it with false informations. Now they have to ask unnecessary questions to be sure
Yeah.
before coming. There
Yeah.
must be a reason why they act this way. So that's
Yes,
what we
but
want to
also,
know. And then
like
what is somebody who's really serious, when it's a serious matter, then we know exactly how to call the ambulance
Yes.
and they receive the ambulance
No.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if it's
A serious case like
Yeah.
stroke or like
Yeah.
this, the questions they are not they're asking, not all of them are just not serious questions. They are serious questions because sometimes they will guide them to having the clue on what to do, and secondly, they will also help you to be administering
First aid.
before they arrive, so that the person wouldn't die.
Yes.
So those questions are very, very necessary. Some of them are very necessary,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
but the one that are not necessary should be the one you're asking. Is he insured? Is he
Yeah,
is he insured? Give me the sick funds control number. If you are going straight and
but
telling us.
they're not asking that
They
on
don't
the
ask that.
one
No,
on
I
two.
never hear
No,
that.
no, they don't ask that. No.
Okay, so then my next question is, how do you determine the hospital which they have to carry each patient to?
Okay.
Yes, that's very important because that's sometimes also surprising for a patient that he's not brought to the closest nearest by hospital. Yeah. It's well, the hospitals, they we have a system together with, so we are a chain of helping healthcare. Huh?
Okay.
So we are just a link, the ambulance and then the hospital. They inform us if it's very busy.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have a heart attack, then you need a special treatment, and special treatment can only be given in the AMC,
academic.
VUMC, and in the OVG as well, but not in the smaller hospitals. But sometimes there are already 2 patients in the AMC waiting to have their blood clot removed for the heart attack,
Okay.
and then it would take inside the hospital. It would take some time, a waiting time, before you can be helped. So then it's better to go to the next
Nearest
hospital.
one. Yeah, okay.
If there's nobody there, you can be treated
Immediately.
immediately.
Oh,
So it's some
okay.
special treatments that are in special hospitals, and also some waiting lists and what we call stops when it's really too full in the
Hospital.
emergency room. Then we go to a different emergency room.
So, in that case, who are supposed to ride alongside with the patient in this ambulance case? Because you cannot just carry the patient alone. So who is supposed to ride alongside with the patient? Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Is that not a good?
Yeah, it's
is
a
it not
good
important?
question. But then it's good question. But if you ask me, if God forbid, if something happens to my family, an ambulance comes, I will go with the patient.
Yeah, but in a situation where, I mean, people are in the diaspora now, and
Yes.
most of the time, their loved ones are not with them. So
On the street,
I
for
just
instance.
want to know who must accompany the ambulance. Is it that the ambulance driver just have to go alone, or with the patient alone, or with the crew?
No, normally if there's somebody who knows the patient,
Yes.
then of course only one person, because of safety measures, one person rides along, and it's up to the people to say which person.
Okay.
It's not up to ambulance
No,
caregiver.
my question is, if this one person is to ride, would this person be will be somebody who is legitimately documented, or the person just have to be an ordinary person, and nobody's gonna harass you and say, "Who are you? Produce your ID." Do you understand?
Yes.
So because
I didn't think like that.
You got to think like that. Because I'm thinking like that because I'm a migrant. Okay, you are in your country. When I take you to Nigeria, maybe then you will begin to think the way I'm thinking now.
So I can be very clear on this. The one who writes with the patient will not be asked any questions about identity or anything. Only maybe if for example, if the patient is unconscious, is he the one who can decide over the patient?
Good question.
He's the one to decide. Do you see that?
What about you just met the person on the street?
Then you cannot decide.
And you say, oh, the ambulance, the one to call them, so you go with them. So then you cannot decide.
No. Well, you if you don't know the person, you shouldn't go with the person.
Okay, just call them and go.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, those of you who are listening to this broadcast is coming live on Majesty Christian Television Network. Remember, you can give us a call on the studio line, which is plus. If you are calling from outside the Netherlands, just put +31 20 33 74 160. We are discussing on quick access to emergency ambulance services in the Netherlands. And our guest today is no other person but Dr. Pieterniel van Exter. All right. I would like to know, actually, who pays for these ambulance services? Is it in the insurance? Is it covered?
It's the insurance which is paying for the ambulance, but there's some tricky thing about it.
Tell us.
The insurance has what we call an own risk.
Okay.
So the first 385 euros of your medical treatment in 1 year, you have to pay yourself.
Eigen risico.
Eigen risico. So always it starts off in the year with 385 euros you have to pay yourself. And that counts for hospital, for medication, for ambulance care, for all those things. Only the huisarts has no own risk. So the huisarts is for free. So if you, for example, you fall with your bike and you hurt your knee really bad and you think, what shall I do? Shall I go to the emergency room or go to the huisarts? Then it's good to know that the huisarts is for free and he can judge if you need specialized care. But as soon as you go have specialized care or you're an ambulance is a lot more expensive than a taxi.
It's true. It's true. Very, very.
So then you really have to pay this 385, not immediately, of course, but you get a bill afterwards.
Okay, if the person is not documented, there's no way for them to find you in their system. So who is going to pay for this?
Well, if they will not harass you when you have an emergency. They will ask you, but if you're not documented or anything, they will help you anyway. But later on, when everything is cool again, they will send you a bill. So
really,
you have to maybe prove that you cannot pay the bill. I don't know if some experiences here.
Not only ambulance, in other sicknesses also. When you are undocumented. I have the case whereby I help somebody, after delivery, you know. And she is undocumented.
Okay.
She cannot pay. So there are some organizations that helped. So that bill was taken to that organization and they pay the bill.
But the question is it every time that people are undocumented that they cannot pay? Because there are some people who may pay a visit to Netherlands, and these are maybe politicians who have money, and something happens.
So if you can't.
A politician who has money might have insurance.
Or even a business person.
Might have health insurance.
It's coming from the third world country, and he's having insurance here?
Not here, from back home.
Really?
Some people have insurance, health insurance. Those who are richer, as you are saying.
So it covers them when they travel abroad.
When they travel abroad, yes.
Oh, awesome. Really? I've never heard of this one. All right.
Even sometimes when I'm going to buy tickets,
Yeah.
can have such insurance that cover you.
Your
Where
train.
you're
International.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's
People
true.
like that. Yeah.
It's true.
But she is talking people coming from Africa. I mean, what
Yeah,
you mean?
that's what I mean.
Also people coming from Africa too.
Yeah,
They do
so,
have.
Yeah, so that
Buy ticket.
the flight, the ticket they normally book covers that. That's what you are saying.
Sometimes we have such a
Such a
insurance.
ticket.
Yeah.
Social insurance. It's not common.
Yeah.
It's not
You have to
common.
pay
They
for
ask
it
you, yeah.
extra.
People just
Yeah.
say, put that aside, just give me a ticket.
Yeah.
Happen
Yeah.
to me, I will not be sick. I will not be sick.
Yeah.
I will go and come back.
But very often the insurance covers, for example, if you go to England or something and you fall ill there, your Dutch insurance covers your costs,
Yes.
but they will not cover the cost of
Bring the person back.
bring you back to your own country. So sometimes with the ticket you buy this extra insurance that they will
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
repatriate you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be kind to describe, tell us some of the emergency cases that must warrant us calling ambulance?
Okay.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, I would like to.
Otherwise, everybody
yeah.
will go back calling ambulance. Somebody just gets headache. Oh, ambulance come! They will come.
Well, let's start with a very simple example.
Okay.
You are sitting at the table and somebody is not feeling well. It's a person in his 50s, and he says he has this heavy feeling on his chest, and he asks you to bring him to the hospital. Would you do that?
Sure.
I'll call the ambulance.
Yes.
That's what I would do.
It's sign of,
Yes. I will not carry.
heart,
Yes.
heart problem.
Yes.
What
That-
about you don't know? It's just say, okay, as you said,
Yeah.
sitting on the table
Yeah.
and tell you, can you take me to the hospital? I don't feel good. I think I will take the person to the hospital.
No, the person told you explicitly, I'm having pain in my chest.
Okay. that is
If
good.
he's 50 plus and he
50
has,
plus,
or 40 plus even, and he has pain on his chest,
Yeah.
it's very important that the ambulance comes
But
because
what sort of pain? Is it supposed to be just a mild pain, or what sort of pain? Describe it, please, because I don't know.
well, it's dangerous to say if it's this kind or that kind because everybody is a bit different. But if it's somebody with pain on his chest without a
Reasons.
reason, you have to worry about it as a heart attack. And then later, if the
So
ambulance
that's sign of heart
comes,
attack.
if the ambulance comes, they can
Jesus.
make a cardiogram.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they can see. And so the important thing is if you take him in your car and you bring him to the hospital, and on the way, like with a heart attack, you can have rhythm problems and maybe even a cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
Well, what would you do? You're driving, somebody next to you is dying, you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. So you shouldn't, with somebody who might have a heart attack, you shouldn't go in your own car. You have to call the ambulance, and they can monitor, and they can also make the hospital prepare for the treatment in
Yeah.
the hospital. Go to the right hospital, like we talked.
So is every environment safe for an ambulance to come? Because if it is in an unsafe environment and that this thing is taking place, do I still go ahead and call an ambulance?
What you say?
Yes, and the police will come as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I see that a lot.
Yeah, the
I
police
see
is
that
coming
a lot.
more and more. I
see
don't
that a
think
lot.
it's always necessary, but it's.
I see that a lot.
I think here in Zuidoosten, pretty
A lot.
always.
Every time you see ambulance in
Yes.
any long building,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see
Police
some
is
police.
there.
But you know why? Because these people are at times being beaten up because they are late. That's why
Yeah.
police always accompany them nowadays.
Are
Yeah.
you sure?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are being beaten.
Yes.
Yes.
Because people are angry when they come very late.
Yeah.
So it has happened many a time here in Amsterdam that they were physically beaten.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. So that's why police nowadays.
Well, she knows because she's a midwife. So
Happily, it's an exception, but it's true that.
It's true, Tom.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
And
Really?
more the. But I think it's also a kind of profiling, which I don't like about it. That here they will send the police earlier, and then in Amsterdam Zuid they will not send the police because those are people were not making aggression.
Not aggressive.
What did you say? What did you say?
It's because they're not making aggression.
Yeah.
There's no policy here because of aggression, as you say. But in Amsterdam South,
Police
they
must
don't send any police because the people are not aggressive.
But I must be honest. It's not only South Coast. Because, for instance, typical that man that the girlfriend or wife fell from upstairs and he took police and ambulance 30 minutes before coming down. If something also happened, let me say in West or in Oost, if somebody is there, it doesn't matter. The person can be so angry. That's
true. If you have come earlier, this will not.
So they normally beat them up. They normally beat them up.
Angry. But how can they improve it? How can they improve it? Because to
that's
be honest,
why the police is coming down.
To be honest, ambulance are always late. Everybody know that.
Yeah.
It's always in your mind that you think.
Sometimes I say this is supposed to be emergency.
Exactly.
But this look like normal. And somebody's dying. So I think they need to improve on it. Really. People call them. I know they are not just waiting for something to happen before they come. But it's emergency already. So they need to be at alert.
Which is my job.
Well, the fact is that we are thinking that they just need to sit there and be waiting for us. But we heard from her that sometimes the cars are not even enough. So they have dispatched their members because what is just happening to this environment is happening in another environment.
So it's like we have in Amsterdam Zuidoost, we normally have in the night when it's quiet, 2 ambulances really in Zuidoost. And next to the AMC or something. But then there's work, and then the first one goes out for the first patient, the second one goes out for the second patient. But with the third patient, the ambulance has to come from the center of Amsterdam, and then it takes too long.
It's too small. At least I'm just surprised to hear that.
About 6.
Because
for the whole Amsterdam.
I think that's clarify why they are
coming late. Yes.
Why don't they spend much money? I mean, through the insurance fees we are paying. Why don't they think about using that money to buy more ambulances than employing more doctors and all this stuff?
This is why they are always late.
Because
scarcity. Few,
The ambulance organization is paid by the insurance company, and there are some rules. The government says you have to be there within 15 minutes in more than 90% of the cases. So as long as you follow the rules, the insurance company says, well, most of the cases you're there within 50 minutes, you're doing a good job, so I will not pay for more ambulances to be even sooner or quicker.
But people have started complaining. Now, that's what we're talking here, because some people fell or some people needed the emergency, but the ambulance came late. So now people have started complaining. What are they going to do about it?
To improve it.
Maybe you are not getting the complaint. We don't see you.
Now she's getting it.
We are not representing.
Now she's getting it.
It's good.
The migrant, exactly.
Not even the migrant,
everybody.
A Suriname man that is born here,
is still a migrant. No
matter what, a white man, a white woman, it can happen to anybody.
It's true.
If you don't have an ambulance, you don't have an ambulance. So we are not representing and we are complaining. It should be improved.
Should be more ambulances.
My sister, what you are saying, immigrant, is not immigrant people alone. One of my friends, she's Dutch, the husband Dutch. The son fell, and was bleeding. And they called ambulance, just as what you were saying. They were asking a lot of question. How much is the blood? How is he flowing? Is he on a child? At the long run, they did not come. The woman had to take the child in her own car and transport him to the hospital.
I can imagine
it's unbelievable.
You see?
So tell us, you haven't heard all of this now. What are some of the specific questions which you can look into the camera and tell the audience that the 112, when we call them, these are some of the questions you must expect. Can you please look into the camera and tell and tell us some of the specific questions so that when they are going beyond that level, then we know that they mean harm and no more good, you know. But I know they will never mean evil.
Yeah.
It's just that we've heard it clearly that they have scarcity of ambulances.
And it's very poor.
Very, very poor. My sister.
Yeah, well, they
Really? Is it now poorer than is it now poorer than that of the third world countries where we don't even have ambulance to?
But my sister,
excuse me, can we get from hello caller?
Yeah.
All right.
So my sister, you know, back home, we know we are third world countries and we don't have that access. We know, you know. Just like
we have ambulances.
No, but it's not as much as we have it here, you know. So if ambulance is coming late, if I call ambulance back home, let me say, if I'm in a Owerri village and I call ambulance, it's coming late, I think I will know, oh, I'm now in the village.
Yeah.
It can come late. You can at least accept it a little bit. But here in Holland, because we have this mentality with it, everything goes fast.
Fine.
If I call ambulance, just like that night, and they were asking me questions, whereas I'm thinking, oh my God, she is going to die or something like that, I think I will be pissed off. Yeah.
Well,
tell us some of the questions.
Because I still think I can feel the that you're pissed off, the irritation if people are asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
The first questions they ask are about location. They have to know where exactly they have to be.
Yes.
So that's logic.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's logical.
And then there are a few questions about consciousness and breathing. Like if somebody is still awake and if he's breathing normally. So if somebody is not awake and he's not breathing normally, that's the moment that the ambulance is on its way already.
Oh.
So then the questions go on, but that's already a point where they think, oh, he's not breathing. One, you know, so they probably don't say it clearly enough, but the ambulance is already coming.
Because of the address that you gave.
Yes. Exactly.
So the address is the most important, and then the first key questions, as we call them, about consciousness and breathing. So if the person is still breathing and he's not unconscious, then starts a lot of questions. Then they start, and it depends on your first complaint about the patient. If you say, well, he has such pain in his stomach or he has fallen, then the questions, I cannot, they're not the same for every illness, of course. And the thing is if it's, like we said, if you fall with your bicycle on your knee and you're hurting and somebody calls the ambulance, then the ambulance will check if it's necessary to come.
Okay.
So then they will ask a lot of questions, and maybe they say, well, you take your own car and you take a taxi. Yeah.
Oh, take a taxi.
Yeah.
If you don't have any money.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's what they
when
do.
It's not really serious and you call it, it's expensive. So you're supposed to know that, it's like, I'm not really dying. Why can't I just go with my car?
Yes.
Taxi.
Yes.
That's what I mean when I say some people must have abused that opportunity. That is
the
why
system.
And they start, they have to ask questions before they start coming. Whether it's something you can handle or you need. Well,
you don't have to call it abuse because some persons don't know if it's serious or if you need an ambulance. But yes, the ambulance is meant for people who are really life-threatening diseases and when seconds count, and we try to explain that to people. But also, like an injury of one of your limbs is mostly not life-threatening. But what do you do if your mother falls, trips over a stone, falls on her hip, and lays there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's not life-threatening.
No, but she can't move.
But she's in a lot of pain, and she can't move. So, okay, it's not life-threatening, so you think, do I have to call the ambulance? Yes, because the pain is too much, and also you cannot move her.
Yeah. Not the woman.
It's not possible to move her. So then the ambulance can professionally move her and give her some painkillings on the road. But if you're on a sporting football and somebody sprained his ankle, and you call an ambulance, then they start asking a lot of questions. Yeah. And if somebody in the football has his shoulder dislocated for the first time in his life, it's hurting really a lot. So you're allowed to bring him by your own car, but it's normal that you ask an ambulance to give some painkilling on the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So pain, very severe pain, can be a good reason, but they will ask some questions.
And that's why I called them that night, because the pain was so excruciating. Even when they came, they couldn't move her. They had to call fire brigade. They moved her from the window. Yeah, because they were asking me, what is it? Is she now unconscious? Is she bleeding also? I said, no, she is having excruciating pain.
Yeah.
Okay. But still, that didn't help.
Wow.
What I want to say is this.
Say it.
Now, because of the delay, and you know that this is how the system works, what about somebody is really, really sick? Though the person is breathing, can you call the ambulance and lie to them when they are asking the question? When you see that they are going to the direction of, is she breathing? And you know that she's breathing. Can you say, she's not breathing, come?
Oh, when you say she's not breathing, then they would think that the person is gone, and they would not.
They won't come.
They must come.
No. Because if she's not breathing, then she's dead.
I don't know how somebody. I don't know how somebody.
So I don't know how to identify who have passed on. Yeah.
I know.
You have to start resuscitation immediately.
Yeah. They will tell you the kidney resuscitation, and then you go need to pump her.
What I'm trying to say, is it normal? Because you know they are going to keep on asking you questions. Can you give them a direct thing that will make them to come quick? And maybe that
the quickest way is to just answer those questions.
No lying.
Because if you lie when they call,
that's why
you have a lot of
people must have said what didn't happen, and then they start to say, okay, maybe you have to be very careful before.
Okay, so how do people who are witnessing a patient dying or needing an ambulance case, what are they supposed to be doing to prepare really the patient before the ambulance comes? Are there certain things they're supposed to be doing, or they just hang themselves on the phone and be talking and talking? Are there things they're supposed to do?
Well, there's some different cases here. If you are, for example, with a friend who is terminally ill, and the partner of your friend asks if you want to take care of him because she has to do some shoppings. And in the time you are with this person who's terminally ill, he is dying under your hands. The breathing goes slower, the breathing stops. So what do you do? Would you call an ambulance then?
No, ambulance, yes.
Somebody who is dying.
I don't know how somebody died.
No, this is a person.
She says what will she do? Because she needs to know.
She needs to know, because
not all of us are medical practitioners.
She has to know.
No, but if it's somebody who is expected to be dying, he's very ill, he's having cancer, he's terminally ill, and he's dying in your hands.
Okay, I call ambulance.
What do you have to do?
I still call them. I cannot keep it. I still call them, because if the person eventually die, they must take the person out.
Oh yeah.
I cannot put it in the car out.
No.
So no matter, I still call them.
Yeah. Well, they cannot do much for you then. Maybe they come, maybe they don't. But if they always the house doctor has to come because he has to make the declaration of death. So the undertaker can only come and take the person out if the house doctor has signed the papers. So there's no specific use for an ambulance at that time. And the ambulance is not
doctor you need,
transporting dead people. So if this person is expected to be dying and he dies...
It's already expected to be dying.
Yes,
Like
then
you are prepared.
Yes.
You know already.
Yes.
You are not shocked.
No.
Okay.
But if it's a person in good health who is dropping dead next to you, yeah, then you have to
All ambulance.
start resuscitation. And that's like we said about choking in the beginning. There are 3 things you have to do. You have to call 112. You have to call for help in your surroundings. Please help me. Make the door open. See that the ambulance can find the road. Wave at the street. Make everything possible so that the ambulance will come.
Yeah.
Easy access for the ambulance. And start first aid. And the first aid, if you don't know what to do, then the dispatcher will tell you. And if somebody in the room knows what to do, then they start doing it.
One question.
Okay.
When do you use the trauma helicopter?
That's yes. Well, that's why the asking of the dispatcher is sometimes longer, even in a very urgent case, because like with this person choking on his airway is. We always talk about the ABC. So the airway is the most important thing to keep open because you can die so soon after it's clogged. And then sometimes they ask the mobile medical team from the VU, from the helicopter, but at night also with a car, to come to do artificial respiration for this person. So in very serious cases, big accidents, but also with threatened airways, they will ask next to the ambulance to also assistance from the medical team, mobile doctors. Yes.
So would they send a helicopter when, let's say, all the ambulances are already out, for example?
No, the helicopter is not faster than the ambulance.
Oh, because if you're looking for space to land and not to
yes.
cross, I don't know those things. Oh,
and then they have to walk from the place to land. Maybe with the police car they go to the place where they have to be. It's not very fast. No.
So we heard of recent that the level of stroke has increased among the migrant community. Can you give us a little bit of a tip on how we can know that this person is about to have a stroke, and then you already begin to prepare to call an ambulance before it strikes?
Yes.
Is it not? Yeah. Is it not?
Yes. It happens
quite
often. You're just
yes.
Yes. You're just suddenly somebody of mostly older age is acting not normal. He's not talking good, or he's dropping a bit, and you feel like he's falling to one side.
Yeah.
And you think, what's happening? This might be a stroke. Because he didn't complain before, and suddenly he's got these symptoms. And he doesn't talk properly. Now, maybe 10 years ago, we would say, well, wait and see what happens. Maybe it passes away and it's no problem. But nowadays, it's a real emergency. And what you have to do is what we call the fast. If you don't know it, then the dispatcher will help you do it. Yes. But the fast is to see if somebody has a stroke. And the fast means face, arm, speech, time.
Yes.
So the face, you ask the person to smile.
Can you smile?
Can you smile?
Yeah.
And if the person has a stroke, then one side will drop and he cannot smile with both sides.
Oh,
you know, so he cannot show his teeth, or he won't try to.
All right. Okay.
And so with the arms, you say, can you
raise your
arms, both your arms.
Yes.
And then with the palms up, and then one hand is dropping.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a stroke as well.
Yes.
And then the speech, like we said before, speech is a bit slurred. Can you speak your name, or do you know where you are? And if it's not a normal answer, then it's a sign of a stroke as well.
Yeah. And the T, what does it stand for?
It stands for the time, because it might have happened 10 years ago and you're still like this. That's no emergency. But if it's happened just now, it's a real emergency, and time is brain. So every second you wait longer, you lose more brain.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And So it's very imperative that people with a stroke, it's a real emergency, they go with lights and sirens to the hospital, and then the hospital is already prepared by the ambulance care. They are already having the machines operational. So you go into the scan, because that's the determination. 80% has a clot.
Yeah.
And a clot we can help if it's soon enough. 20% have a bleeding, and the bleeding we cannot help. No.
So in this case now, that's my last question.
Yes.
So in this case,
yes.
Would we now say that the people close to these migrant patients who have had stroke all of a sudden couldn't really observe them? They couldn't really notice that the stroke was about to come. And the patient themselves as well didn't notice that stroke was about to come. Okay. And I also heard you say that when somebody if an aged person is around, okay, so when we begin to see their faces drop and they are not able to raise their hand. But are you not trying to say to our audience that stroke is only for those who are old? It doesn't happen to the young people? Because I saw somebody who was walking as if he had stroke just 2 days ago, and I think this person has stroke, and it's a young person.
Yes, it's possible, but that means like you have your blood vessels, and if you're young, normally they are healthy, but sometimes you have some disease why your blood vessels are not healthy, or you have a weak spot in your blood vessels. So it is possible for young people, but it's more common with old people.
From which age for the older people? From which
It doesn't matter.
Does it matter?
Yes, 50 plus.
50 plus.
Really?
Yeah.
So finally, are there some discounts or discount arrangements for pensioners, in calling ambulance? Because now we are talking about the money involvement as well. When people are pensioners, maybe they don't have, not professionals like you anyway. There are some pensioners who have been in social, taking social all their lifetime. They are in social. Now, if they need to call ambulance, are there some waivings? Are there some waiving offs?
I don't quite understand what you mean with waivings.
I mean, are there some discounts?
Cotton.
Are there some discounts in price?
Okay.
Price are they,
No, the insurance is covering for everybody the same. If you're young or old, and it's individually. So if your partner has had a lot of care already, he may have spent already the 385. But if you have not spent anything, then yes, it's the 385 you still have to pay.
Wow. Okay, any other question from any one of you?
Okay, just a little bit.
Yes.
What about the 385 euros every year, and you didn't spend all of them? Will you get it back?
No.
You never get it back.
No. It used to be.
How do you know you didn't spend all of them?
It's clever.
They keep
Yeah,
on
of
writing
course.
you how much you have left.
Yeah.
How much you have left.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I have a lot left.
Yes.
Thank God I was not sick.
Amen.
Last year, I have almost 185 euros left, so I never see any of them.
No.
They don't refund it
No,
back.
they don't
No, it
refund.
doesn't come
But
back.
when you are away, then they take it by
Yeah,
force.
no.
They don't take
doesn't
it.
come back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. They don't. It used to be like before, but no.
Well, yes.
Actually, it's not a question. I don't know. The Ministry of Force hasn't heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from what you said, there is scarcity of ambulance. Maybe people like you and other people who are in high rank should write to them to see what to do, because
this is the head of ambulance service.
I'm
I'm
just telling her. Yeah, no, I'm telling her. I know what. So whatever. I think that, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe a sort of petition to the minister. Yeah, and tell her what has been going on, the frustration of people.
Yeah,
maybe he or she will release more money for people to buy ambulance, because some people would have been saved if the ambulance
had come
on
quick.
time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's only my suggestion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
So
very
that we
good
don't easily give up on people and allow them to just
Die.
that way. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so painful.
It's
You
very
know, it
good
could be very, very
suggestion.
painful.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So
that's
please,
my
can you
suggestion.
take
Yeah.
happily to
The minister.
wherever it has to be channeled to?
Yes.
Right.
Well, yes, of course. It's an ongoing struggle
Okay.
between efficiency and quality, and in ambulance care, it's the time which is very important, but also the quality. To have our nurses well educated, and to have our dispatchers better educated and better understanding people and not asking questions which are too much. Those things are also
very important.
they are also very important. So we always ask the minister to give us enough means to have the enough capacity and also to have enough quality of care.
Yeah.
And I think they know, and they've upgraded but also the number of ambulance rides is, from when I started it was 100,000 per year, and now it's 120,000 per year in Amsterdam region alone. So it really is going quick as well, and personnel is hard to find. So my question to you is, can you please tell people that it's a very good job to work at the ambulance care, because we lack people.
What sort of people are you looking for?
I think there must be nurses. There must be nurses.
Must it be nurses?
No, well, no, you have the drivers as well.
Oh, drive. Okay.
The drivers just need the driver's license and
okay, then it's good.
That is all?
first aid
To learn
certificate.
first aid.
First
Okay.
aid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yes,
First aid.
first aid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
So-
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So send your people to.
That is
Yeah,
good.
this is very, very
That
good
is good
to
to
hear.
hear.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
we
all
have
these
so many of our
years,
people who
I
have
always think that those who drive the ambulance
They
and the
must
work
be
they
doctors.
are not doctors, nurses. You know? So we can sell this idea to people.
It's always
Yeah,
a team.
the
It's one nurse and one
Okay.
a driver, and
That is good.
awesome. This is good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, thank you
It's
so
fruitful.
much. And before we sign up, is there anything, specific thing you want to drop to those who have watched this program before they sign up regarding to these ambulance services?
well, I think for the future it's something funny to end with. It will be more technology and more contact with the hospital and the ambulance care, but they also have an ambulance drone now.
Oh yeah, ambulance drone. Yeah. Really,
So you call for an ambulance and bzzz,
the drone.
the drone is coming.
Yeah, the drone comes, and when the drone comes, does the drone come with a human being, or it's only programmed?
Good
No,
question.
you open the box of the drone, and then it's especially for a cardiac arrest.
Okay.
Then it says what you have to do. You have to put the 2 stickers on the person,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
it will analyze the heart rhythm, and it will tell you if you have to resuscitate or you have to give a shock or whatever.
Yeah, I did that.
So that's the future.
I received
ambulance
that
drone.
training. Yes, I received that because they gave that training.
You
to
could work with the drone.
The doctors.
It's fine.
All right. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Pieterniel van Exter. Thank you so much for being with us. We've enjoyed our broadcast this evening with you. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you
With
so
pleasure.
much.
With
Thank you
pleasure.
so much for being with us. Thank you, Skachi, for being with us. Well, thank you every one of you who have watched us this evening on how quick it is to have access to emergency services care in Amsterdam. And we hope you have learned a lot. So to stick to what you heard the professional told us, and also get others to know about it so that we can avoid all these mishaps that have been happening among us. Thank you, and should you want to get this broadcast, please remember you can always go to our website, majestytv.org, and download this broadcast. But don't give credit to yourself, please. Remember to give that credit to the people that have done the program. Secondly, you can as well go to YouTube and then and view this broadcast, and then share it to so many other people, because the information we have gotten this evening, I think, have been very, very, very impactful.
Yes.
So thank you for watching us, and we hope to see you again. Can we say bye to our audience, please?
Yes.
Right to you all.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you for watching us and listening to us.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, thank you, Lord.